Well, for decades now, people in Great Falls have used a quiet railroad crossing near the wastewater treatment plant to get into the West Bank Park and onto River's Edge Trail. But now that access is gone, and the city says it could cost taxpayers millions of dollars to respond to. A few weeks ago, a woman from Great Falls named Barbara Nelson reached out to me asking about how that public access is now gone, saying in part, quote, "These are serious questions that deserve transparent answers," end quote. Well, tonight, my Help Me Bend team and I, we try to provide those transparent answers. We're taking an in-depth look at to why that crossing is closing, what it means for the Great Falls community, and that growing frustration over who should actually foot the bill. Or Joey Taylor, joining the Help Me Bend team tonight with the story.
To many in Great Falls, the 4th Street Northeast Railroad crossing has felt like a public entrance to West Bank Park for years. It's how walkers, runners, bikers, and families have gotten to River's Edge Trail, but legally that was never the case.
The 4th Street Northeast Railroad crossing is located on BNSF property. There were agreements signed back in the 1960s and 70s between the city and BNSF, and that allows the city to use that crossing. However, BNSF still owns the right-of-way.
Signed in 1960 and updated in 1975, specifically prohibits public use, but for decades, neither the city nor BNSF enforced it, and the public kept using the crossing. Now, that's changing. BNSF is expanding its tracks in the area from 1 line to 3, citing increased rail use from Calumet. With that expansion, the railroad told the city the crossing had to close to protect public safety.
We were informed by BNSF that with that railroad expansion, there would be concerns about public safety if that crossing was continued to be used by the public. We are taking their concerns to heart, and we are doing our best to make sure the public stays safe.
When asked for specifics on those safety concerns, Dawson said the city did not conduct its own review, instead relying entirely on BNSF's assessment. BNSF provided only a short written statement when we asked, saying, quote, "The 4th Street crossing is a safety concern because it isn't designed or intended for public use. Under the crossing agreement, the city is responsible for maintaining a gate to prevent public use." That gate has quickly become a flashpoint with a price tag of up to $2 million.
Neither BNSF nor Calumet have offered to help with any of the funding that will be needed to install a gate at the crossing. So as of right now, it's on the city to pay for that gate. If we don't control access in the way that they want us to, they'll just shut down the crossing and we won't be able to use it anymore.
The city says that access is critical, not for recreation, but for employees who operate the wastewater treatment plant, for contractors, and for emergency responders. If the crossing is shut down completely, building an entirely new road could cost even more. Still, community members are asking why taxpayers should shoulder the cost of a problem created by a private company. Asking questions like, why would the city be expected to spend $2 million to respond to this, especially after investing significant resources into developing trails and parks in the area? And why is access being restricted now after years of open use? This isn't just about a gate. It's about how we value shared spaces and who has a say in their future. The city stresses that West Bank Park and River's Edge Trail remain open.
Even though the crossing may get a gate that's going to restrict access, people can still access the West Bank Park through the 3rd Avenue Northwest entrance. So you still have access to the park, you still have access to River's Edge Trail then, you just have to go into a different road to get there.
The closure is forcing the city to balance competing interests, protecting public safety, maintaining vital infrastructure access, and responding to residents who feel blindsided.
BNSF can close that crossing down within 30 days notice whenever they so choose. So the city wants to keep that open because we want to continue to have easy access to our facilities there.
As the city moves forward with gate design, the larger debate continues about responsibility, transparency, and how a decades-old agreement still dictates community access to public green space. The city has already approved $110,000 for the gate design. However, it remains unclear how they plan to fund the estimated $2 million project. For now, residents can still access West Bank Park and Rivers Edge Trail through other entrances. 4th Street Northeast is just no longer one of them. In Great Falls, I'm Joey Taylor, Nonstop Local.